You're stuck because you're terrified. Keep going. Take one more tiny little step towards whatever it is that's scaring the shit out of you. Always find somebody that you trust. Don't ever tell everybody everything. Keep your secrets. Keep their secrets. Even if you're not friends, keep their secrets. I think the main thing is, even if you're married, even if you have kids, even if every single one of us are on our own individual path. And whether you're with four other people or you're on your own, it doesn't really matter, because your path is your path.
Welcome to the Citrine Path, a space for healing, transformation, and authentic connection. Join us as we explore spirituality, energy, personal growth, and the journeys that shape who we are. Light the path within and step into the conversation.
Well, welcome back for another episode of our second season here with the Citrine Path. So we're super excited. We shared with you guys a little bit that we have some amazing guests that were going to come and hang out with us. So this episode is another one of those amazing guests we have. So I would like to introduce Kim here in just a moment. But again, I'm Patsy with Violet Elements.
And I'm Amber with Citrine Enlightenment.
And we would like to introduce all of you to our very special and dear friend, Kim. Kim, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself and just share a little bit about you, and then we'll talk more about all the fabulous stuff that we have planned out for this episode.
Awesome. Hi, I'm Kim, or Kimbuktu is my business also. I don't have anything official. I'm not even sure what to say. I am a Reiki master. I also work in IT. I've been in IT the longest, 25 plus years, where I just practice everything, right? Because I'm a 3-5 manifesting generator, which probably nobody knows what that is, but I test everything 50 times before I make sure I know it's right or wrong. That's me. Hi.
One of the many things that we share in this lifetime, at least, is that we both practice Reiki. Yes. And that is kind of what brought us together in many ways, and continues to keep bringing us back around.
Yes.
So do you want to share a little bit of like what brought you to Reiki? Because your story is a little bit different than mine. And then what you do with Reiki is a little bit different too.
True. Okay, so honestly, the story of how I got into Reiki is one of my favorite stories. It's almost as good as how I met Jamie. Jamie and I were driving down the road, and I look over and say, "There's a crystal shop. You better pull in right now." And that crystal shop led me to you, Patsy, who led me to my Reiki journey. So my Reiki journey started at 50 years old, because I've known you for almost 4 years now, maybe. I'm pretty sure I was just over 50 when I met you, and you stirred up my world, girlfriend. And it has been the best pot stir of my life, to be fair. You and Joe sitting at that table, the first event that I got to participate in at that crystal shop, that we don't really go to anymore. But either way, they're just standing there, and I'm looking at these two amazing humans, and I'm like butting into their corner, right? I'm just trying to get away from these other people that are driving me crazy, and these two seem normal. I'm like, I'm going to go towards the normal, and I'm going to sit right here. And I sat right there. Patsy told me later that she felt like I blocked her in, and I wasn't trying to block her in. I was just trying to get towards the normal. And it was such a cool experience with those two. And I'll never forget that day, because I went home and I was like, I just met the two raddest freaking humans on the planet. You're never going to guess. And they told me some cool stuff about me. And I was like, what? I swear I'm sober, and I'm sorry. I don't normally do things sober. So this is really weird for me. Sorry. Anyways, the crystal shop and the meeting Patsy is how I got started in the Reiki. And honestly, she's right. Our Reiki is our connection, but this is how we go, right? We're like in the water swimming like fish, back and forth, back and forth. Where do we go? Which direction? How do we figure this out? And man, it's so cool to I've texted her just freaking out of the blue. Blah, blah, blah. what is this? And she's like, oh, Kim, hi, how are you? I'm like, hi, how are you? Tell me my answer. And that's just how I roll because stuff just hits me. I get downloads in seconds and hopefully I get to hear them, understand them. And if I don't, Patsy is my go-to, right? I almost daily am talking to her, probably like you, Amber. I mean, duh, you're her daughter, but me, I'm just over here like, hey, what about this? Can I just crawl up your butt a little bit more? Yeah, that's been a little bit of my journey, and all of it has been incredible. What I do with Reiki, completely different. I'm a selfish jerk. It's mine. I go on to a Reddit forum where people will ask for distance Reiki. I'm right there with them. Hell yeah, I chime in. I set up my space in a very almost ritualistic area. It's kind of like I move the Cheeto dust out of my way. I plop my things down in the middle and I go for broke. And sometimes I get choked up and I'm bawling. Sometimes I'm vomiting. And sometimes I get nothing. So it's so cool, right? Um all the different things you can get with energy. And I just love every piece of it.
So I
That's what I love.
first want to chime in and say I think the
Yeah.
funniest part of that whole thing is that you thought my mom and dad were normal. I think that's crazy. But I just love that you met them at that crystal shop the one time they went to go do the booth there randomly and you guys just happened to meet each other. I think that's such a cool way of seeing like you're supposed to meet the people you're supposed to meet for a reason and it's
I
cool to
block them in a
see.
corner. Make sure you keep those shits in the corner. Just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I
Yes.
think that's super cool to see. And I know that you've helped mom grow in a lot of ways, just like I know that, mom's helped you. So it's really cool
So
to see
many.
you guys grow together and, learn Reiki as a team and help each other and build it as a little
Yeah.
community. I think it's great.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, she's been one of my favorites. I'm so happy I ran into her.
Yeah, and the weird, I mean, not the weird. I mean, I say weird always, and I always say that
It's
as in
always
a
weird.
positive thing.
Yep.
Um, but the thing that was so weird about that was we didn't know we were going to do that booth until 2 days before when we were at a different shop talking to a different store owner, and the lady that owned that rock shop was on the other side of the bookshelf and invited us to be a part of her event. And so the whole string of things of us that ended up in that shop doing that event was totally off the wall last minute, which if anybody knows me is not my jam.
Mm-mm.
Um, so showing up there and being there and then being uncomfortable because I was there with people I didn't know, which is not my jam either. And then this was the first time that I shared this side of myself. So it was
Mm-hmm.
the first time I was sharing some of my energy things and crafts that I make. It was the first time that I really was like stepping into my intuitiveness and sharing that with people. And then Kim was there. I hadn't really, I would say in generalized, I haven't really had adult friends that weren't family members or that I didn't know previous, like from childhood. And so Kim was literally one of the first people that I met that was a friend or that a relationship that evolved into a friendship here in Idaho. And so, like, all of that definitely of you meet who you meet when you're supposed to meet them, and you were put in a situation where you're supposed to be. Because out of all of that, that's what came out of that. Because neither one of us no longer associate with anybody with that. We no
Mm-mm.
longer do any of those events.
Nope.
We pretty much met each other. We went back a couple times and kept running back into each other, and then revolved our friendship outside of there. And then neither one of us has gone back.
Nope.
So that was what we were supposed to get out of that.
Nope.
And yeah, I think it's turned into quite a beautiful path that we have been on.
I agree.
But
I agree.
one thing that you said that I kind of want to circle back to because I'll forget if I don't, that you do distance Reiki. So that
Yes.
is one thing that you do different than I do very little distance Reiki. So most of mine is in person, but you still get the same sensations, the same intuitive, the same energy doing it
Mm-hmm.
distance that I
Yes.
get in person.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that was really that is really wild
Crazy.
to think of
It's
like
cool,
it's just energy either way that you could tap into that.
right? Which is rad. And Amber, I'm sure yours is different too, right? Because you do hands-on as well. Do you do distance too?
I mainly just do hands-on right now, but I use a lot of my Reiki with sound healing part of like
Yeah.
with it. So I pair the two together and do my
Correct. And
sessions that
because
way.
of what you said and because of your sound, I do play music too. I don't play anything specific. I actually just go out and grab a frequency that's resonating, and
Mhm.
that's what I pick for the human, whoever it is. I've done quite a few that wow. I was like, I need to disconnect now or I'm gonna get sick because this is too much for me. It was intense. Like I was almost on the floor bawling.
So that
Go
kind of
ahead.
leads me to a question real quick, just for my own
Yeah.
amusement. Is there anything that you do to kind of protect yourself from people's energy that you may be picking up during
You have
sessions?
to ask your mom because I ask her all the time. Hey, Patsy, I think I just screwed up. Can you help me? I mean, how many times I'm like, so here's what I have. I messaged her one day and I was like, look, it feels like I have wings that got clipped on the back of my back. What the hell? And she's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. I don't even remember what it was. I just remember these things on my back were so painful. And I look in the mirror and there's nothing there. I'm like, I'm fucking crazy. I am losing my mind. What is going on? And Patsy's like, whatever she said and whatever I did, I was like, oh. And that's why I know, man, she's freaking solid. I know she knows what she's doing because it helped and it worked and all the things. So I don't have to know, I don't have to know squat. I just have to know that the energy is going to do what the energy is going to do, and I can't control it, contain it, or I have no say, which is ideal for me because I don't want people to try and contain and control me either. So that's why I feel like a ball of energy anyway. So don't try and contain or control me. I'm just gonna do and create and be. And you can whatever. Have fun. or leave the room. However it works. It doesn't really matter because I'll figure it out one way or another, which is
So,
cool.
so I'm going to
Quite
tattle on you a little
beautiful.
bit here.
Yeah, do.
So you do things, but I think you do things intuitionally and without thinking about it because I've been in your space and you do have crystals and things and like wire work that you've done that's made out of copper and different things
Which I'll
like
show
that
you later.
systemically placed around your room and your
Yes.
workspace. So you do things, but I think you do your things more of this feels good, so I'm going to put this here. More
Yes.
so
It's
to
more
where
aesthetics.
yeah, but you're kind of shoot from the hip, go with the flow kind of chick, and that's not me. So like for
Yeah.
me, I'm like I put on special jewelry with a purpose. I like go through a whole ritual thing each time before I finish and end, and it's very meticulous, and I spend the same amount of time, and but so that's kind of the thing. Like you could do different things that feel good to you, and it doesn't necessarily have to be this is the only way to do it, which is one of the things we're sharing so much about is like what I do, what you do, what Amber does, somebody else does has to be right for us and feel good for us and not necessarily the exact same. Like you don't have to copy me to get the same thing. And
No, I
then,
tried. I tried. It didn't work. I can't do the timing. I tried. Look, I
yeah,
I believe in Patsy so much. I wanted to emulate what she freaking does. But you can't do that authentically based off of somebody else's map, right? It's your map, it's your path. I'm just answering one of my questions. I wrote them all down. Anyways, it's your path that you're going to follow. And while I get to pick up things that you have dropped me on the path, like timing, placement, this ritual, that ritual, whatever, 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 they don't necessarily work for me, period. Like I said, there's that funny meme where the lady's like, you have to do it ritualistically and do this for this many minutes, this for this many minutes. And then the other lady's like, wipe off the Cheeto dust. Let's go, bitches. That's me, right? I am that girl. I would love to be ritualistic. I have tried it we don't mesh. Rituals don't even like me. They break. I try and the water boils for some reason. It's like, dude, I'm done. We're just gonna go for broke and see what happens. And if I'm wrong, then we'll try it a different way. I don't know. There's got to be a better way, right? But I love everything that's why I call your mom all the time. You want to know? Call your mom. That's my only answer because I'm gonna call her anyways and ask her.
Yeah, but I think that's what's so beautiful about it is, like on my side, sometimes I wish I could be not so strict about things and so particular, because sometimes I feel like that hinders me because I'm like, oh, I can't do that because I need time to do this, this, and this, and this, and get this.
And then you
So
get in your
I think there's,
headspace.
yes. So I think there's beauty in both sides of it. And
Mm-hmm.
being around you has taught me to be a little bit more spontaneous, a little bit more, hey, sure, let's just go this. Let's go randomly talk to this person over here. Um,
Please tell her about that because that was amazing. I
yeah,
didn't even know I scared you so much when I did that, but that was so cool.
yeah. One of the first events we went as just shoppers, not
Friends. Yeah,
necessarily event people.
yeah.
And we're just making connections with people, and it was a very artist type fair, which is what you are. And
Mm-hmm.
so like to see you connect with them and go with them, and I was just kind of like following along trying to keep up and hoping nobody talked to me because I felt so out of my element. But it was great.
I
It
had
ended up
no
being a
idea.
great thing. You had amazing connections. So there's a beauty in both sides of it. And that's what I love about it, is that you don't have to do it just like.
I agree. And but it took me a minute to figure it out though. So,
Yeah.
like I said, I tried all her ways, or even different ways. Like even our other friend too, I tried her ways too, and nothing worked until I sat with myself in my freaking tub time and was like, "All right, what do you want to do?" And then we figured it out, right? This whatever this is, she figured it out, and as long as I as long as the main thing that I do have to do is I do have to hit these. Can you see your mom has the same tattoo? I do have to hit my shokure and say heiki, and then the rest of it comes in. And I almost use them as buttons on my arm now because it's like, hey, it's right here. Why do I have to draw it? I'm looking at it and pushing a button. And that's what being a Reiki master said I could do. So that's what I'm going to do.
Mm.
So I'll sit here and I'll put my hands like on my arms right here, on my arm, right here on my Seheiki and Shohire, and that's how I charge. And that's how I whatever it is, all the ritualistic things, it happens right here with two fingers, and I'm done. And then for the rest of it, like if I'm going into the past, present, future, whatever, and I will visualize the symbol being created in front of me, like an artist with a paintbrush and basically I push it in to the ether wherever into the darkness because most of the time I'm in my room which is pitch black. I'm laying heart and stomach staring into the void, nothing, and just trying to basically connect with my fleshy suit and remember that I have a purpose here. I may not know all of the purpose reasons, but I do have a purpose. I have a reason to be here, and otherwise I would have been dismissed by now, right? My contract would be up. I just try and send myself a lot of love that I never got as a kid. I'm gonna freaking cry, but I didn't get much. So that's all I really try and do is just lay in bed and remind myself, hey, you can be loved. Don't forget that, dumbass. And most of the time it works out okay, right? I mean, we can't predict the future and all of that, but most of the time it works out. You know how
Well,
much I love crying.
I think it's really cool that you're using Reiki to help yourself in a different way than I think a lot of people know that they can use it. Like I don't ever hear many practitioners say they do self Reiki, and that's
Oh,
something I love to use. And like
yeah.
you mentioned your childhood, like I have moments in my childhood where I've gone back and sent Reiki to my past self.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen a huge difference in how I respond to situations. The amount of like, the thinking patterns, like
Mm-hmm.
almost PTSD type things when you think back to memories and stuff, like a lot of that has stopped since doing past work
Yeah.
using Reiki, and it's very cool because now I'm getting into hypnosis type of stuff.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and
Oh yeah, you're
so
getting certified. Jamie's been doing hypno on me for over 20 years. But go ahead,
yeah,
please.
yeah. So, I've noticed a lot of the same responses from like, after the fact of my clients doing hypnosis work on them that I'm able to
Hmm.
do with going back and doing distance Reiki in past time. So I think
Yeah.
that's really cool. And I want to admire the fact that you're giving yourself the time to do that. It's really awesome to
Well,
see.
Patsy and I were talking earlier this week, and I don't feel like that I am a master, even though I have the title and the certification. I don't consider this thing a master of anything but painting. I can paint the hell out of anything, but I don't consider myself a Reiki master. So that's why I send it to myself to try and understand. So when people ask me, what does it even do? I have things that I can tell them now because this is what it has done for me, or this is what I have done when I've done distance. I don't have to touch you to do anything ever. And I mean, I even got ridiculed by people like at the crystal shop. They're like, well, how is she going to be a Reiki master if she's not even touching? And I'm like, dude, you want me to touch you? I have a bat. But I mean, I'll show you, but I don't feel like if you have the energy and you can feel the energy around you, it's just like a balloon when your hair stands up. You can physically see it. What's the difference in my world? Just because you can't see me laying hands on them doesn't mean I'm not. You just can't see it. Because in a distance, how could you? I'm not here. I'm in a different realm and I'm doing it from a different space. So, because I'm trying to fix things logically, realistically in this whatever, it would never happen. That's like metaphysical witchcraft. It's not real, but it is. And that's what's rad.
So you talked a little bit about you're in IT, and then you're
Yes.
also on the spiritual and healing journey. And of course, now we've talked about the Reiki. So how does your logic brain balance the different structure sides? Because IT work and being in the where it's black and white, literally just black and white, versus the spiritual realm and on the spiritual journey, how do you balance the two of that? Or have you figured out a way that it kind of meshes and overlaps?
First of all, I love that you think that IT is black and white. I love you for that. It's not. It's so much closer to the spiritual realm because, hey, what's wrong with the server today? I don't know. Maybe it needs laid hands on, prayed on. I don't know. It has a gremlin. Who the hell knows why it's not working today? Being in IT, it's just problem solving. That's all I do is I fix problems all day long. If you have a problem with your whatever, it's a proprietary system, so it wouldn't make sense even if I said the actual words. But let's just say you have a problem with your computer and the Y key popped off. Well, I'm going to figure out why. Why did the Y key come off this time? And I'm just going to dive in. So to me, it has helped set me up for the Reiki because now I can be like, why does my stomach hurt? Why are my legs hurting? These are not my problems. My legs were not hurting 5 seconds ago. Did I just walk past somebody with a huge freaking leg issue and now I'm limping? That's the kind of stuff where I wish I could follow the little red line or whatever to the person that it came from. Like when you're walking through the store and you just know somebody did it to you. It's not mine. I know it's not mine, and I would like to give it back. Here, have your crap back. I don't actually want it. And I didn't want to know it was there in the first place. I was just trying to buy some freaking cheese. So whatever, right? But those are the things that I'm trying to hone in on with the Reiki and understand, okay, so now my leg hurts and using like the books that we have. I use Louise Hayes. I love hers. You Can Heal Your Life so much better. But I love the oil books too because they give you just a little bit more than what hers does. So it's cool to go look and see, oh, well, my leg hurts because I don't feel like I'm being supported and blah, 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 whatever the reason is. And look, I know that the oils and the things aren't going to magically fix it, but it sure as hell does help release some of the pressure and the tension and maybe like the underlying to whatever the anger is or the pain is, because those are just like, what do they call them? Anger, pain. sadness, they're just like they're like frosting. You don't understand what the actual problem is until you cut the cake, right? So the anger is going to go into disappointment, guilt, frustration. What? I don't know. It's a big old slice of crap, is what it is. But I'm going to go ahead and eat it because this is what I've been chewing on for the last 50 years. Might as well eat some more. But understanding where it's all coming from, and not even really coming from, because I don't know where it's coming from. It's more like almost just sending love to the space and letting the energy and the love mix up and heal it all together. Because I don't think I do much more than that, really. I don't know. Do you? When you're sending all your stuff? I don't know.
Yeah, not really, I guess. I guess it's kind of the same theory and concept. I don't know. You were saying something and it like went off on a tangent in my own brain.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, like so do you feel like, because I know for me, now that I've done Reiki and gone down the rabbit hole of other things, so I feel like I say this all the time, Reiki is like your gateway drug.
Yeah,
And all of this other stuff that comes from it, because it like everything overlaps so much that you like go
yeah,
from one to the other.
I agree.
So I've noticed with me that I keep myself in check a lot. And so that, working on trying to show more emotion or like tapping into it and knowing which one to tap into. Have you found the same thing on with you? Like now, so you kind of touched base on it with your like, oh, well, anger might be the top thing of that somebody's presenting, but really when you get in there and do the work, you're like, oh, it's resentment and sadness. And so have you
Mhm.
found that to be true with yourself, going through and
Yes.
healing yourself?
Yeah, every time, which sucks. I mean, you really have to take a good look at yourself when you're doing the shadow work, and pay attention, not so much to what anybody on this planet has ever said about you, because it's not about them. What are you saying to yourself, and what are the voices in your own head that are talking to you? I mean, I have lots of them in here. I already feel crazy. So they tell me all kinds of things, and not that I've been tested, who knows if I'm schizophrenic. But anyways, those are the voices, though, that in my world I have to calm them. I have to tell them. I have to go back to the 8-year-old Kim and say, it's okay, I got you. Nobody's going to hurt you ever again. And I personally have to remind her almost weekly, I got you. Okay. I understand. I know what happened and I'm sorry that it happened, but I'm here now and it'll never happen again.
How have you seen trauma and unresolved emotions most commonly come up in your body in everyday life?
I gain a lot of weight. What my mommy issues made me huge. And look, I still have them, but I'm not going to let her run my life anymore. I I have a lot of guilt from mom that is unresolved, and that's okay, because two things. I didn't raise my kids like she raised me. I was an opposite, whatever that means to whoever. I'm whatever she did, I picked something completely different. I was like, no, that doesn't work. I know for a fact. So I tried something else. Was my way right? No, but it was a different way, right? I didn't know how far outside of my understanding I could go before I'm going to go to jail or lose my kids. Those were my main things that I didn't want to do, right? I I wanted to try things different, of course, but I have this mother that's trying to take them. And so how can I do these things with my kids and not lose my kids and all the things, right? Because as a I was young single mom for 10 years. And then I met Jamie, right? I met Jamie at 32 years old. So I had 10 good years of, she sucks, but it's okay. I still didn't do what mom did. And that was where I'm okay still. And even going back now as an adult, I've had conversations with her face to face with a piece of paper, asking her all the questions. I've done the work. I'm not trying to skip out on any of it. I didn't particularly like her answers, but at least they were honest this time. And that's what I wanted. So now I can take the truth, which I love. I love the truth. I don't care. I don't care if you hurt my feelings. I would rather deal with my hurt feelings than bullshit, right? I want truth. Um, so like for example, Mother's Day. My youngest, who is I have two boys, Jamie's got two girls. So my youngest comes up to me and says, "Mom, you're a blah, blah, blah." And I was totally. And it was all warranted. And these are my kids. And yes, they are your kids. And I am so fucking sorry I crossed the line. And look, that's what us Gen X that were raised feral need, is the freaking truth in our face. Like, I know I did it wrong, but show me what's right. I'll comply. I just need to know the right way. And I know whatever I'm doing, especially if I'm stressed, oh, stay away from me. Patsy knows. If I'm sick, stressed, or mad, don't even bother talking to me. I'm useless. You put me in a hole and talk to me in 3 days. I don't even know, because I'm in my head, and I couldn't even tell you the color green was green. I'd argue with you and tell you it was a different freaking color just because I can. And I know that about myself. I know when I'm totally stressed to the gills and stuff like that happens, which is another reason why I wanted Reiki, to try and hone all that shit in, right? That's why, because I keep going back to it. If you don't get it from your parents or whoever, you have to give it to yourself. Well, I didn't, and I mean, I do now. Don't get me wrong. I mean, this is old bullshit. That's all it is. But she knows that self-love is the most important thing. And it's just like the airlines say, take care of yourself first before you take care of somebody else. Put your mask on first. Put your mask on first. Every day. And I've actually touted that since before I met Jamie. You always have to take care of yourself. You always have to. Fabulous tub time for me is me taking care of myself, right? You asked a question about grounding. Yes, I ground myself in the tub in salt water, and I just sit there for hours and hours. And that's what makes me happy. It also releases all this crap.
Well, I just want to say, like, I think the fact that you're able to be called out on what you're doing wrong and accept accountability of for it is super awesome. I know a lot
It's
of
hard.
people aren't willing to hear that and aren't willing to put that work in. And I have a huge issue with putting myself first and self-love and all that kind of stuff. So thank you for the reminder today for that. I'll have to definitely do that.
Always. Always. I mean, it's hard enough. It's hard enough that you have, how many kids you got? 4, right?
I got 3, but they might as
You
well be
had 3.
12.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I had 4, right? 2 were mine, 2 were not mine. And it doesn't matter, right? You still, I know for a fact that when I am just at my end, I know I'm not giving not even 15%, let alone 100% of anything useful for anyone. So for me, I have to take care of me, or I can't take care of you. It's not even a question of any of it. It's a must at this point. If I don't, then you get zero anything. And that's where I think that I feel like my mom probably never gave herself anything. Not that I'm going to ask her, and not that I'm going to be nice about it, because I'm not. I'm curious, but I'm not curious enough to go ask her the questions. Right? I don't care anymore. I don't care what you did, because you screwed up so much that bye. And I can do that because I have zero guilt for it anymore because of all the work I've done, which is awesome, except for the tears.
But I do kind of want to just point something out, because you mentioned your age a couple of times and how old you are and the stuff, and that you've been working on this for over a decade on your spiritual self, on your self-healing. And so I just want to like congratulate you on sticking with it and doing it and like staying with it, because I am horrible at being consistent with it. So
Oh, me too. That's why it's taking so long.
But it's hard work. Like
It
it's
is.
hard to get through it and you have to be consistent and you have to keep doing it. And it's not an overnight fix. It's something that you're gonna have to keep doing. And like Amber said, like, yeah, your kids are calling you out on things when they were younger, and you're able at this point to say, "Oh man, yeah, you were right."
Yeah.
And so I think that's like a huge thing, like Amber was saying, not everybody can do that. And, I didn't, I look back on things, be like, wow, man, I really could have done that situation a little better.
I
Um,
have so many.
yeah, but also to see how my kids are parenting their kids
Isn't that the
is
coolest?
amazing. Like sometimes it's mind blowing. Like, so
Hmm.
you got to give yourself credit for that too, because yeah, you might not have parented correctly, but you parented better than what you knew. So that means you went out of your comfort zone and what you knew to found answers and information to try to do it different. Yeah,
Yes.
you like weren't quite there, but now look at it and wow, look how my grandbabies are being
Yeah.
raised and how they're going to raise theirs versus how
Yep.
I was
I
raised.
was. Oh yeah. And Amara, who's my panda, who is my favorite, that everybody knows is my favorite. I don't care if it's on the internet, right? She is my favorite. She taught me how to love a girl. I have boys, right? And while I love Jamie's girls, it's different, right? Once you have a baby, I may not have popped Amara out, but man, seeing that little girl love me so much from such an infant to she's going to be 6 this year. Oh my gosh, she'll come into this house and be like, "Where's Danny?" She calls me Danny. She doesn't call me grandma or anything. She calls me Danny. "Where's Danny?" "Well, Danny's not here." "Well, why not?" she just she gets all kinds of sassy. But Danny and Panda, we hang out together, man. We have sleepovers and I do photo shoots and we just have a blast because of the stuff that, I've always wanted to do this kind of crap with a little girl and I never had one.
That reminds me so much of you and Willow, Mom. So you mentioned energy work and memory work, I'm sorry. So how do you use memory work in with your healing stuff?
So with the memory stuff, Jamie and I watch a lot of TED Talks and we saw this one that talked about each time you verbally say the memory. So I have verbalized, I'm going to give you a memory. Probably since I was 6, I've verbalized it a lot. So from the time I was 6 years old, my dad would give me this little tiny flashlight, hand it to me at the door, and say, "Scan it at the trees. If you see the green eyes in the trees, come back and I'll drive you to the bus stop." My bus was about a mile away from my house. I'm 6. I'm out. My little flashlight. I'm scanning. Most of the time, I make it to the bus stop. No big deal. A couple of times, there was a giant ass moose in the middle of the road. I go back and get my dad, and he drives me to the bus stop. One particular day, there's a huge moose in the road. He takes me to the bus stop, and then there's a freaking coyote at the bus stop. And he's like, "Go get on the bus." And I'm like, "He's going to eat me." I'm like this big. He's like this big. But I get out of the stupid truck and I run across the street and I get on the bus and I'm obviously still here. But the memory, so going back, so each time you tell the memory, something changed. I have no idea what changed this time. I'm sure I cut out a ton of it. So I know a lot of it changed. However, when you're telling it for real, each time you tell it, something changed. So what you want to do then is either record or write down or remember what you said it and how you first said it. And then each time you tell it again, write it down again, how you remembered it. And then you get to go look at the ways that were different. And then you get to see your patterns of, oh, well, I wonder why this didn't come out the same as it did the first time, or whatever it is, right? You just go back and look at all your differences. And so with your memory work, you get to go then see what you are changing. And you can ask yourself why. Why is this particular thing changing? Whether it makes a difference to you or not, I have no idea. But our memories, they're all fake. In reality, it's sure I say I have a great memory because I can remember back to 2 years old, but can I? Who knows? I mean, not really. I don't remember all the things, but I can remember shadows of things at this point. Like my very vivid memories when I was a kid are like, they're legit shadows now. I mean, I can still see it, but it's not as clear as it was. I can't see the faces anymore. A lot of it's changed. Whereas, like a memory, like of Patsy and I sitting around the fire the other night, is perfect. It's right there in my memory. I can remember most of it, which is completely different. So that's where you want to look at your variations, your differences, and if it's big enough, maybe go take a look at why. That's all. That's where my memory work comes into play.
So you've talked a couple times about a few different things that you've done. Um, what is something that you're currently working on or that you're currently learning about? So that could be like something that has to do with healing, growth,
Okay, so
whatever. But what's something that you're doing now?
most I have books right now that I'm learning on chakras. So I'm trying to dive into each of the chakras, um, not just their meaning, not just their core, but anything about that specific chakra that could then be expanded on. So let's say, for example, your root chakra, while that is grounding and this and that, and whatever, what if it means something else too that I don't know what it is yet? That's the areas where I'm mostly doing it on myself just to see where they fit. So, like when I run through the chakras at night or whatever, however I do it. And you've seen my key, but I brought it, my little key that I made. Can you see it? Ooh, maybe not. So I made this guy out of copper and crystals and whatever. Anyways, I take it and I run it like this. So it clears out all the chakras. And I did it sitting at my desk on conference calls. Okay. It's not like I'm wiring, wrapping anything cool. I'm just making stuff because I'm bored and I want to twist things so I can listen to this call better. But this one came out so rad that obviously I kept it and added crystals to it. And now I keep it with me all the time. And it's almost like a little security blanket to help the chakras. So I'm learning chakras and I'm also diving deeper into human design, which is one of my favorite things. Um, because to me, if you would have had the blueprint for any of your kids, maybe it could have helped parent them a little bit better without having to trial and error it on bad information to start with. This would have been a good start to begin with. And it would have been cool to understand it. So I am totally using it on Amara, my panda.
So what is one thing that you or a lesson that healing has taught you that you wish other people would understand or that you knew sooner?
Right. Are you afraid? Keep going. That's it. That's what I wish more people understood. If you're scared, if you're fucking afraid to move, sorry for my language, if you're stuck because you're terrified, keep going. Take one more tiny little step towards whatever it is that's scaring the shit out of you, because that's gonna boost your confidence, and it's going to show you that yes, you can, whatever it is. I don't even care. Fear is a paralyzer. That I know. Facts.
So that kind of goes onto another one. You're continuing, like a couple times you brought up that you wish people just like understood it and just did it and that they have the capability of doing it. So thinking of our listeners realizing that they are capable of doing anything to ensure their happiness, what helped you begin believing in yourself?
Well, it wasn't until I started doing the self portraits, which I went to Promoting Passion, Brooke Shaden's Promoting Passion in 2022, and there was so many things that I was supposed to do during this trip. Right, I thought it was just a photography convention. Right, I was just taking my camera. I'm gonna learn cool camera stuff and all this whatever, whatever. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I brought my camera. I'm supposed to pick up a car at the end of this trip, at the end of this photography thing that I'm doing that ended up being a damn life changing. I called Jamie on Wednesday. I cannot pick up this car by myself. You have to come get me. he had to work all weekend, but he flew his ass down and he came and got me, and we picked up the car after I had to look at myself. I had to look at myself, and that terrified me. But after the promoting passion, I started doing self portraits, and I went to Boise Camera Club, and I started learning some things and doing some things, and then I started looking at myself, and look, it doesn't matter because I met Patsy and all as well. Seriously though, I went to promoting passion and I went into that crystal shop, and those are the two things that are on my list, other than watching The Secret, that have changed my life. 2006, I watched The Secret. 2008, I got married. 2022, I went to promoting passion, and I'm pretty sure I met Patsy somewhere in that year. Those are my, as far as the Reiki and enlightenment pieces go, that's the timeline to a T.
So, what does happiness look like to you now compared to earlier versions of yourself?
Yeah, so earlier it was very material, right? I had to have that thing, the latest and greatest cool new thing. And now I give a fuck about that thing. I just want to be able to sit somewhere, smile and laugh and not care what anybody else thinks. And I'm pretty solid with that now. I was not solid with my own skin up until 2022. So it took a minute. I mean, you can look at pictures of me from before 2022 and now, and I look completely different. Even my mom didn't even recognize me. And the picture I took, I was standing right next to her. It's funny.
With that, Kim, is there anything else that you want to share or that has been like a big thing that helped you? Because that was one thing that we really wanted to touch with this season, is that this is stuff we wish we would have known before. And the change within us in the last 2 years has been wild. But now looking back, I'm like, oh, I wish I would have known that sooner. Um, so is there anything, because you mentioned a couple books, like is there any resources that you recommend or
Oh,
anything like that?
I have loads of resources. So my favorite book is The Four Agreements. That one, even Jamie and I listened to that one twice on our second US tour that we did, which it means that we just drove cross country in a truck. That's all that means. It's not really a tour. It's just driving. And yeah, we went to go do a photo shoot in Pennsylvania where I forgot my camera, but it was still so much fun. It was a blast. The Four Agreements is probably my favorite book, and if you haven't read it, you should read it or listen to it over and over and over again. I think the main thing is, even if you're married, even if you have kids, even if every single one of us are on our own individual path, and whether you're with four other people or you're on your own, it doesn't really matter, because your path is your path. My favorite thing to do is try and intermix my path with whoever I can, right? And especially my favorite people. Obviously, I want Jamie's path to be pretty close to mine. Pretty sure our paths are like this far apart, but that's okay because we make it work one way or another. I bring something in and he brings a lot in, right? He's my grounding post. He's logical. I fly around up here in the sky. He's like, hey, you coming down today or what? And that's the best part. I think that resources, always find somebody that you trust. Don't ever tell everybody everything. Keep your secrets. Keep their secrets. Even if you're not friends, keep their secrets. The Four Agreements, obviously, I wish I could read them all off for you right now, but be impeccable with your words is my favorite one. And so I guess that would have to be.
So we do have 5 questions that we are asking all of our guests. So,
Yes.
what does walking your path mean to you?
Mine is about helping and mirroring. So if you're angry at somebody, because of something that they did, said, or otherwise, go talk to yourself, because you're mad at yourself for those things too. Walking my path is I want happiness. I just want everybody freaking happy. I don't care how you get there. I just want you happy. If you have, like, I have a friend that she was in a miserable marriage for 30 years and she finally left him and she looks like she's floating on a fucking cloud now. I love that for her, right? I mean, she's so happy because her anchor was pulling her into this freaking ocean. And I don't care how long you've been married. I don't care about any of it. If you're not happy, find your happiness.
What spiritual practice grounds you the most?
Fabulous tub time. I take baths. I sit in water for hours. Like, there was a couple nights, Jamie will get me a room and I've slept in the tub because I don't have a nice, pretty tub at home. So I just sleep in it. Jets on or off, I don't care. I wake up, that water is freezing. So I just warm it back up. But fabulous tub time.
Do you want to ask one, Amby?
Sure, this is my favorite question too. So, what is your favorite spiritual tool right now? It could be a deck of cards, crystals, whatever have you.
It's the key. It's my key. And it's so there's these two things. I don't know if you can see the rock, but I actually wire wrapped it so I could put it on my purse, and then the key that I made. This is a smoky quartz that I've had now for about 35 years. My kids' dad gave it to me. He got it at a friggin' look, I don't know where he got it, but I remember him giving it to me, and it's been in my pocket ever since. So it's one of my favorite crystals, and it always reminds me about abundance. I'm not saying it promotes it or brings it. I'm just saying it just reminds me to think about abundance in my way, whatever abundance looks like for me.
So, what is a current life mantra or affirmation?
So I have three. So money comes easily and frequently is something that I always say. And I watch The Secret. So obviously these are from that. So I've been saying them pretty much since 2006. Happiness, health, and wealth is something that, like, I'll sit there like this and say happiness, health, and wealth. Money comes easily and frequently, but I am a happy, healthy, spiritual millionaire is what I tell myself all the time. Whether I am or am not, I don't care. That's what I tell myself. And eventually I'll be one.
If anybody wants to reach out to you, ask any questions, possibly ask for more resources, what would be the best way anybody can get in contact with you?
I'd give them my Reddit one that has any of my Reddit. I have five subreddits that I run. One is for spirituality, one of them is for art. Fabulous Tub Time is one of them. There's not much out there, but then I also do one for Jamie. I call it Hub's Hobbies. That has some pretty cool stuff on it. But human design and Reiki is one of my subreddits that I have out there too.
Perfect. And it's just under Kimbucktoo?
I think so.
Okay.
I
So
think I sent you the link.
perfect. Yes, that would be
Yeah,
perfect.
just use the link that I sent you. I don't remember which one it was.
Well, I just want to thank you, Kim, for coming and being so vulnerable and sharing, because that is a huge, huge shift in things that I've seen within you, even just within the last couple of years. Um, and so just to see who you are now versus who you were before, I'm in awe of that anyways. And that just goes to show the work that you've put in and what you've done. Which is funny because you said when you showed up at the rock shop, us normal people, me and Joe said all these things about you. And I remember you kind of being standoffish about it and almost in shock. And you're like, well, you clearly don't know me because none of the stuff you just said is me. But here we are. Look, what what we said is what you are and what you're working now. And so um I just think that's really awesome of how far you've come, and just thank you for sharing and being vulnerable and inspire me to, like, like you say that you're always in awe of me and things that I have, but um that's something that I know and know now that I have to work on within myself. So I just appreciate you for coming on and sharing that.
I love you so much. Thanks for
Hello.
thanks for letting me be on here.
Yeah, and I'm excited I get to like learn all this cool information from you guys and just kind of, you know, speed along
I
my
know,
path even better now.
for real. You're so lucky. I'm so jealous. You really do have a really rad mom. That I'm not jealous of it. I'm thrilled for it, and I love every second of it. I think it's so cool.
Yeah, I'll call her and be like, "Hey, so I need my guru time. What is this crazy life situation I need to get myself out of, and how do I do it?"
Yeah, I know that one. I've done it too. To your mom.
Poor lady.
Well, you even do it
I
to
should
call to
buy
find
her
out where your
something.
pin is at. I said, you even called me to find out where you lost your pin at. So it's not just all guru weird stuff.
Mama, that's still guru weird, extra weird stuff.
Well, thank you again for tuning in and hanging out with us here on the Citrine Path. It is always such a blessing to have our friends and stuff come on and join us, but also we just want to take this time to thank you for spending your time with us and listening. As always, we send our love and light to you, and we wish you the best and go forth with love and intentions.
Thank you for walking the path with us. Until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep following your light. The views and experiences shared on Citrine Path are for educational, inspirational, and entertainment purposes only and are not intended as medical, psychological, or professional advice.